Sorry.
This is not meant to be the
I like the pre-pod stuff. It's good. Are we recording?
See where the big light turned from green to red?
I didn't see it.
Right, okay.
Go.
Right. Chris,
Yes, Stuarty.
somebody's here with us.
Oh, over in the wee seat in the corner.
Yeah.
This is Jules.
I brought in my own seat. I'm not on the wee seat.
It's Julie Murdoch. She's going to keep us on fucking check, man. Welcome to the Good Roundup. My name's Stuart Steele and I'm the Strategy Director of Good. Good is a brand consultancy based in the UK. Today, I have Chris Lumsden, who is the founding partner of Good.
One of them. Hello.
Hello. And we also have, and I'm so happy she's here, she's got the managing director role. It's Ms. Julie Murdoch.
Hello.
Hello. Well, thanks very much for both coming. I know you're very busy and
Enjoying that music.
I know you like a wee bit of that music. So the last time we kind of went over the email that we sent out, and we had some topics which was good, and that was all.
2 or 3 people listened to it as well.
Yeah, it was. Who could believe it?
Have people stopped you in the street yet?
Yes, saying please don't do that again. And the other thing we want to do is just maybe have a discussion about stuff, because this is the kind of stuff that we talk about in the office all the time. I want to kind of read you a tweet.
This is where you hijack us and we don't know what's coming.
I know it's
a bit worrying.
Chatting in the office is one thing, but then you stick a pair of headphones on and a microphone in your face, and it's not really the same thing.
What we've got then is this little tweet. I want to read it out to you, then I've got a question for you. Okay.
Go.
So, and this is from Bogdana, and she is a digital strategist in the city of London.
Ooh.
I've heard of it.
It's big. And her tweet is as follows. Woke up Monday morning to realise people are making me confused about brand proposition, brand promise, brand purpose, brand ambition, brand vision, FFS. And then she gets a reply saying, you forgot brand mission. And she basically goes, oh, double FFS. And I read that and I was kind of going, that, you know, a lot of purpose and brand promise and brand ambition. And so my question to you two is, what is brand?
And I think it's right that Julie goes first.
That's not what we discussed.
All right.
You say what you think, and I disagree wholeheartedly.
I hate all that stuff.
Right.
All of those words and things and descriptors. I hate them. They just breed confusion, I think. And I think a lot of people have an interest or a vested interest in keeping us confused about that stuff, because it's not difficult. It's not rocket science. So what is a brand?
Or what is a brand? Or what is brand?
What is brand? Well, I think
it's a very interesting
nuance.
What is brand? Well, is it something like the sum total of all the associations that jump into your head when you think about a product or someone mentions a product or a service? Is it?
Well, I think the thing that I remember when my early days here at Good was the slide, the deck that you created, Chris, to explain brand to clients. And on it, there was a cow with a big mark in its bum. And that was the beginning of brand, because that mark told you that cow wasn't eating its own feces and was kind of being, was being looked after.
Represented a sign of quality.
Yes, represented. That would have been better than the feces line. But
that's why I'm here.
Thanks, Joe. So that's the kind of thing. But that is as opposed to somebody who wasn't taking their cows up in the summer and everything else. So to your point, yeah, probably. But it's interesting. Julie.
Well, let me tell you what I think.
Okay.
Because when we talked about this the other day, and what is brand, you kind of automatically go to the default of what are the things that you parrot off when you're talking to clients about this stuff, and it's about, whatever that is, whether it's a set of behaviours or promise delivered and all these kind of things. And then I started thinking myself about what take, for example, my penchant for odd pair of Lululemon leggings, for example. And it's the stuff that, for me, well, ultimately it's what differentiates one product from another. But what are the things that organisation or that product does that will elevate you out of that commodity space into something that gives you a reason to purchase beyond just it's a functional thing?
Good show. I think it does have brand has the ability to influence purchase, doesn't it?
And
to
ultimately,
buy one thing over the other.
yeah, whether that and pay more for it on occasion or
Well, and the difference between the cow branded thing is that we've jumped. That was a long, long time ago. I think we've jumped into a time where businesses and brands spend a lot of money curating what they want you to feel or think about a brand
I would
or a business.
But the interesting thing, and I was reading something about this the other day, is that you can't have a good. So brands are built from the inside out. So you can't have. So Lululemons could be terrible products, but you wouldn't buy them. And it's interesting, is the brand, where do you separate the product from the brand? Where do you the thing, the cow, the leggings,
Yeah.
the whatever from the brand? Because I think that's the...
But that's where the behaviours and things I think do, or whatever it is, do come into play. Because if you take, so they talk about, as a brand, they talk about being curious and about being innovation led and being design led, or whatever the words are that they use to describe themselves. But they do, for example, have design workshops where they invite customers into their studios to talk about what they like and don't like about particular pieces of, and they say, bring in your favourite bit of gym kit, your favourite or apparel, whatever you want to call it, and tell us. It doesn't have to be Lululemon. Tell us what you like and don't like about it, and they then basically channel that feedback, that customer feedback, back into their design team, and then we'll talk about whether it's on their site or talk when they're releasing a new product about how that has helped shape innovations within their team. So that's them, I suppose, an example of them as a brand living their design-led, innovation-led thing that they presumably are.
So again, it's the inside out.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing inside, and how do they push that out? So how on earth have we got to this where brand is a beginning of a word for any old bollocks that you can put in front of it, like brand idea, brand purpose?
Because we've
to make it complicated,
and
so
we've over intellectualized the whole thing,
Right.
And I suppose we are complicit in that to some extent. And the more layers there are, and the more complicated it becomes. Some people would say there's a corresponding cost with that, but making it more complicated and adding more layers doesn't make it better. In fact, it often makes it harder. We had a conversation earlier about a client about stripping it back to some core assets and the whole thing about codifying meaning around those things and just doing that over time. And that's kind of the essence of what decent branding's about, to aid recall and use the word salience. But so I think it's overcomplicated. It's everywhere. And that sense of wanting to use those tools and create those brand elements, our clients come to us and tell us that's what they need. Because there's a convention now around it, built into it, that you've got to have this suite of things. And we, let's be honest, sometimes laugh up our sleeve at that stuff because we know where it lives. Where does it live?
Lives in a drawer.
Correct, lives in a drawer. We know that.
Yeah.
You can't carry that amount of information around in your head about a brand.
But equally, it makes it, I think, not only does it make the process more complicated, I think it makes it more it makes it a more complex challenge to then try and push it out into the, even internally, never mind when you get to a customer point of view, but from an internal team. And
most of our clients believe that their customers know more about their brand than they actually do.
And care more.
They don't care.
And is that why there is then this weight on, you need the brand story and the brand this and the brand that to kind of give it more of a weight? Because I agree, and I can think of an example where we got a deck of 40 things and it was confusing brand with information. So you can have 40 things about where it came from and how the product was made, but that's not brand. But in lieu of having anything simple to hold on to, it just became, this is all brand. And it's not. This is a product description. This isn't brand.
Yeah.
This is all over the place, like a mad woman's piss, as my granny would say. And it's that kind of thing where it just gets a bit all over the place. And
and then quickly you can't see the wood for the trees, and you become blind to it, and you're in the middle of a kind of meaning, just surrounded by meaningless information about a product or a service. And the ability to focus and sacrifice, and to focus in on one or two things or one thing, and then reinforce that and build it and repeat and repeat and repeat. There's a function of time and money in there, but spending it the right way at the right time, and just to keep repeating and codify meaning into these things, and so that people recognize. It's about recognition, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. What was the thing Mr. Ritson's thing about the
It was about creating distinguishable assets.
Yeah,
wasn't it? And
distinctive assets, and it's it's all of that stuff that we've been reading about, and that we know about Byron Sharp and these guys. It's the taking a sort of borderline scientific approach to this stuff is what it needs, because there's so much received wisdom and historical nonsense tied up in it. But it is just about focusing in on a few elements and
executing them really well,
consistently, coherently, and not confusing what we do with high art. It's not.
But that's not to say I don't think the storytelling aspect of a brand is unimportant, and I don't think it. But I think it's understanding the role that it plays and not overplaying the importance of that. Because ultimately, if you've got a great story and a shit product, back to your point, the game's a bogey. But I think you can
Depends where that customer is in that journey, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not. It's.
So, to get back to the question, because but I mean, you've kind of got to go through this. If it is, and maybe you've already answered this, Chris, is a brand essentially then a series of values that you're expressing about your company and or product to the wider public to help them? Because I've heard, I'm now stopping myself defining this, because I've kind of heard people say brand is the most important thing a business has, which I don't think is true. I think the most important, I think it's very useful. I think it's the most useful thing a company has.
Well, and that it should guide everything that you do across all.
Yeah, it's a great navigator to kind of go, do I want... So, for example, I was walking down the road. Yeah.
Because you don't drive.
I don't drive. I'm like the Queen. So I was walking down the road, and HSBC at the moment are doing a thing where if you open up a home insurance account, you get a free security camera. I went,
So for you, it's a gadget.
It's all about
How many accounts have you on?
Au contraire, mon capitaine, au contraire. Because then what I did was...
Something you can plug in.
No, that's the only thing I can do. So I went, a free camera, you say? And then I had a look at it, and it had a Motorola logo on it. And I went, fuck that.
I thought you were going to say Huawei.
And it was weird because and I kind of caught myself, and then within a millisecond, all the stuff that I learned, that one logo was that one logo decided I'm not buying it. Now,
so why do you think HSBC have decided to partner with a brand like Motorola?
Because I think most people don't care. I care on that thing, but it's interesting the way.
Do you think most people don't care?
Well, I don't know, but I was trying to
don't care about what?
The fact it's a Motorola badge rather than a Nest badge.
Most people don't know. Stuart
think.
knows because you're invested in that space.
Yeah, that's my thing. So I get it, but I'm looking at
you're a fraction of the percent of the people.
I would agree with that. Well, Julia, but then...
Well, you say that, but then the same would apply to clothing or to cars or to whatever. Of course people understand the value. They might not necessarily be able to parrot off what the brand story is, but they'll probably be able to tell you why they buy a Audi over a BMW or a pair of Levi jeans over a pair of Replay jeans.
And I can absolutely tell you why I wouldn't want a Motorola thing in my house. Because I associate it with cheap tat, and I don't think it's their strength, and I think they're just... And it's interesting, it's all those it's the values that I have decided, that I have placed on, and from the codification point of view, I saw the logo. And
that's the thing, that's the role, exactly. That's
so I saw the logo, and within...
What does that conjure up in your mind?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it's useful, but it can also be...
Well, it's the sum total of stuff. That's what I said, that's what I started off saying, but... I don't think...
That's what he was saying.
That's what I was saying. So that, to me... but that's fine. You're invested in that category, in that space. You understand. So that brand evokes certain extreme feelings for you, but to the vast majority of people who are opening up an HSBC account, Motorola is a brand of consumer electronics that they probably are relatively ambivalent about, but they recognise it.
I would agree, and I think that the reason that HSBC put Motorola on, because most people will go, at least it's a branded product.
Yes,
it's not,
and we'll recognise it, and it's got some values.
So
that
the
are
code of the logo will go right. I get that, and to Julie's point of like some people look at an Audi logo or a BMW logo and instantly make the kind of decision of good guy wank. When it comes to. Oh, can't say wank. And
wank,
can beep
wank
that one
count out. 1.
How many fucks have we had?
Just the one now, I think.
No,
a couple, maybe a couple. None from me, I would like.
No, thank you.
Well done.
That's
so
why
proud of you,
raised the game.
That's why I'm not
it's
saying
weird,
very
isn't
much.
it? but the thing is that code means very different things to different people.
Yeah,
and I think that the values that both negative and positive are put on that little M
Well, yeah,
it's
and you
weird,
then
you know,
get
it's
into
kinda
that thing.
weird.
At least feel something about a brand. The worst thing is to feel complete and utter ambivalence, I
yeah.
suppose.
It is, but it is kind of weird how you see a yellow and black wasp, because most of that's the color. And you go, oh, they're dangerous. Was that good?
What are you talking
Are you
about?
talking about? Are you talking about hard coded messages?
Thanks, Chris. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're here. I know what I'm talking about. I plugged all this in. My value is. I plugged all this in.
Gotta watch them wasps. They're dangerous. Dangerous brands, those ones.
Are we?
How dare you? I've made
Let's
a
go,
really silly
because we can
point.
get edited out. The wasps were a low point.
This is
in the
totally staying in for the
conversation.
tribunal about how I get bullied about wasps.
Where were you
What
going
were
with the
the
wasps? Where were you going with that?
Hard coded, you help me out there, Chris.
Well, you
bailed me
recognise
out.
the
Yeah,
thing.
you recognise the thing and then you go,
You see
danger.
something and instantly think,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, and go, don't let Stuart hear it, he'll shite it.
But the way we talk about this, it sounds easy. But how many times do we get involved in work that's hopelessly overworked? And overly kind of stylized, and this line between creating art and functional brand kind of expression stuff is interesting to me, because I don't think it is rocket science.
But I think that was kind of my point. The internal stuff. Recently we've seen a couple of instances where a client gets to a point where they start to try and engage their internal team on what all this stuff means to them and what it means and what it stands for. That's where you meet your first roadblock, because people are going, what does that mean? And if you can't explain it to your own team, then what chance are your customers
Yeah,
got?
so you end up with this kind of philosophical divide between the rainbows and unicorns of marketing, which talk about
The
what the
value of
brand
brand
means and
and
all
what
the
it stands
soft
for.
stuff, and then you got the sales team going, "That's great. What does that mean?"
Yeah.
And we do see that a lot.
And it's just ignored when they're going out in the road,
Mhm.
and it's just kind of branch manned, and and that's when the
Yoga babble.
different- yoga babble.
As
right,
someone we know.
yeah.
you know.
So, Chris, to wrap this section up,
Wow. Are you going to say, so what is a brand?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
from our perspective, I
yeah.
think it's actually quite a straightforward and I don't want to say simple, but no, fuck it, I'll say simple. It's quite a simple thing, and we shouldn't move too far away from that. And let's, look at the key distinctive brand assets, and let's work out how we leverage them to generate our fuck knows what I'm saying.
no, it's beautiful.
No.
It's quite proud.
You
It
know
was
what I mean?
beautiful to
You know
that
what I
last
mean?
bit.
But to reach objectives, commercial
Yeah.
objectives,
Yeah,
sales,
yeah.
and let's not get confused with ethereal, meaningless artistic endeavors. It's not what we're here to do.
Julie, you got any to add to that?
I agree with him.
That's good. Well, I think that's good, and I think another chat. No, I think another chat that we can have about is actually that stakeholder management, which is interesting, because once you've kind of got the brand sorted out and the values identified and it be able to be articulated in a way that will stay with people, as Julie said, half the battle then is actually selling that in and making sure that people see the brand in themselves and the day-to-day work that we're doing. I think that would be a topic for another.
Indeed.
Well, that was. Thank you very much. I've got one more thing I just want to talk about, because it's very topical. Corona time, and it's everywhere. And today was the day when Trump is no
Banned
travel
travel
from
from
Europe, apart from
UK.
yeah, which is somebody. I heard that it was because he's got golf courses in Scotland and Ireland, and that's why that was.
No, was it not just to do with Schengen, though?
I don't know, but he doesn't have a golf course there. Anyway, this isn't a politics
No,
podcast.
it's not.
Where are we both? Where would you say we are with the corona as far as clients are concerned, and as far as we are as an agency? Who wants to pick that on that?
Jules,
one
you go.
up?
Where we are. So do you mean in terms of where we stand on how we are, what we are doing as a business, or how we are responding to our clients?
A bit of both. A bit. How are we finding?
Well, in the spirit of simplicity, as Chris has just talked about in the context of brand, we are, I think our responsibility first and foremost is to make sure the team, from a health and safety point of view, are safe. So we follow the advice of the government and World Health Organization and ignore all the corona babble. of which there is a lot.
Like it.
So it's largely business as usual. We're talking to our clients if there's commitments in place that there's no reason to, unless there's a specific health reason or safety reason to reschedule them. We're continuing ahead with those and just making sure that we have things in place so that the team can work from home if they need to, or blah blah blah.
And there's 2 US trips still.
Two US trips still in the
going
plan.
ahead.
One both next week, which there's no reason for that not to go ahead. Shoots and stuff that the guys are going out to work on. So we're just trying to be responsive if we need to be, to minimise client project disruption and cost where there are things that we've had a couple of trips that have been cancelled because of client travel because of restrictions have been put in place at their side, just try and kind of limit the impact on them and ourselves as well, obviously. But I think understandably, particularly clients, we've got a couple of clients in the manufacturing space where they have a whole bunch of other issues that they're trying to maneuver their way through at the moment as well. And no one, it's the great unknown, isn't it, in terms of where we're going to be this time next week, never mind next month. So yeah, there's lots of wait and see. But we've not had too much disruption from a client project point of view. But touch wood so far. But we're kind of waiting to see really what happens over the next couple of weeks and then quarter, really, once we get into, well, hopefully once it's peaked and we're on the other side, what then the longer tail of that looks like. But
you worried, Chris? You're normally worried. You all right about it?
I'm worried in as far as sort of what it does to the economy and the slow up and just more snarling up, all that stuff. So what does it mean for the next 3 months, 6 months? But I think once we're over it and it's passing, or it's deemed to be passing, I think everything will roll back. But so that I do think that economically people are rightly worried about smaller businesses being able to just hold the line through
enough,
it. Yeah. And we need to be aware of that too.
But then, the budget yesterday was reassuring to a certain extent to see the funds that are going or being put in place to support certain, industries and businesses through it. So it's interesting times.
It's kind of weird because I've never really felt a thing like this.
Feels like a film.
It does.
Feels like a movie.
Even the stuff like, I'm barely old enough to remember the first Gulf War. Barely.
How dare you?
How dare you? But even that, because it was somewhere else and it felt, that was a bit of a big thing. And I remember staying up late because I was allowed to stay up late to watch the first bombs dropping and everything else. You're going to go, oh, this is a bit scary. But then everybody was going to work the next day and it didn't feel like anything. Then those kind of, this is something, this is a threat that is on our shores, which feels a bit kind of a bit unreal and a bit unusual, and there's a bit of nervousness going about. It was 6 weeks ago, it was all the giggles on TikTok, and now it's
a thing
that's at your doorstep. Anyway, welcome to the cheery good.
Yes. That was uplifting.
It was very uplifting. Let's finish by talking about the tumbling.
I'm writing a blog piece about the naming of that at the moment.
Well, that'll be a bit
about
of
the virus.
That'll be a light relief when you're ice.
Well, I actually think there's stuff we could learn from that, or the corporate world can learn from that. So
it's all back to the simplicity again, isn't
totally.
it?
When is that going?
I don't know. I'm wrestling with it at the moment. I don't know. I'm going through the typical curve of this is good, this is rubbish. No one's going to read this. There's something in this. I don't know. So I'm trying to work it through because there's 3 names that we're dealing with.
Well, Chris, for the love of God, don't give it away. Do you know what I mean? There's people now on tenterhooks.
Literally, maybe tens of people that might be interested.
Hopefully, maybe tens of people will be refreshing the Good Journal page.
Well,
kind of.
Maybe tomorrow it'll be done.
Well, that'll be good. Well, just as a little quick note about what we're going to be doing with these moving on, because I don't really know. But
we're not just going to have a wee chat about stuff.
I think there's wee chats about stuff. I think we'll still be doing things around the Good newsletter. I think we'll still put
the roundups.
The roundups. And I believe we might even have a design input.
Yeah, we should. We should get. Yeah.
So I think Mikey's
and design input into the
Mikey's done a post, so we'll have a chat with him if he's up for it, if he's game, and it won't just be us 3 doing all the chatting. We'll be getting Other people will be shanghaied into this wee room and be asked probing questions like, "What is brand?"
I have to say that was not a great start.
It's not
for
a classic.
question. It's not a classic.
What do you mean?
Because it's something and nothing. It's everything and nothing at the same
that,
time.
Chris, but I'm just checking here. Hold on a minute.
Oh, I know what you're going to do. Yeah, what a brand consultancy.
What a brand consultancy.
Oh, yep.
So is what is a brand consultancy? Well, yep.
I know, but that's like saying to an accountant, what is an account?
I
It's
bet they've
not.
got- I bet they've
They've
got
probably got an answer, to be fair. It's not exactly the same.
Kind of is.
Okay.
Okay, right. Well,
Anyway,
On that cheery, positive note.
I don't mean to.
no,
Yeah.
but I think it's important because I think my point being, I can't believe we're back at this. I think my point being is that there is a lot of complexity around this, and I think it
Yes.
we like to try and strip all that back.
Well, we did, didn't we? We stripped it back and
We
said,
did
like,
strip it back.
let's not be silly.
Let's
Let's
just
keep it
it just
Exactly.
is what it is, and no more than that. It is not that.
What a great way to finish.
I don't think we'll ever do this again. Will we?
Are we one and done?
No, we're not one and done. We're two. You
What?
said
No,
last
you've
time we were
done
going to be
two
done.
I thought we
We're
were going
done.
to be 10 and done.
We're doing 10 at least.
We're doing 10.
We're doing 10 until there's a petition by the government. So,
Right.
right.
All the best.
Tell your friends. Thank you.
Bye bye.